Hello, welcome back to the Pankword Hub. My name is Pankword and today I'll be sharing with you the recipe for greatness. This is more of a continuation of the previous video we did, which is the requirement for an answered prayer. So if you've not watched that video, click on that little button up there on your screen and it will take you to that video. If you are new on our channel, kindly subscribe and leave a like on this video if it blesses you. Share with others whatever you learn from this channel so they can also be blessed. So without spending too much time, let's get right into today's video.
You are listening to the Pankword teaching.
In Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, we have a summary of the creation of man. And it is clearly stated that God formed the body of man before breathing into the nostrils of that body the breath of life. And then man became a living soul. So God was very intentional about the creation. He did not breathe the spirit until the body was actually ready to handle this spirit. So it is important for us to understand that there was a systematic approach to this. And for anybody who wants to become great or make impact in our generation, you have to understand that you have to build capacity for whatever it is you want to become. If there is any prophecy released on your life, you need to build capacity for that particular prophecy. I can imagine what would have happened if God did not build the body fully before breathing the spirit. I'm sure the body would definitely have exploded. This is what happens when most of us young people reach out for positions and fame that we have not really prepared for. So you find a lot of people who have lost themselves because they did not build capacity for what they are seeking for in this life. I think it's important for us to note that preparation comes before elevation, because there are some levels when you reach there, errors are not permitted. Let's quickly look at Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 1. Dead flies putrefy the perfumer's ointment and cause it to give off a foul odor. So does a little folly to one respected for wisdom and honor. You see, a little folly ruins the reputation of a man who is known for wisdom and honor. There are certain levels you reach in this life. Making errors are not permissible and pardonable. To stand before kings, the Bible says that you need a gift, because your gift brings you before kings. So it is not just any level of your skill that brings you before kings. The degree of people who accept you and will entertain you would be people who appreciate a certain level of skill in whatever you do. David was a little boy who was playing his harp in the bush. Nobody knew about him. Even his own father did not remember his name when he was calling his sons to be anointed as a king. Now, David was known in the palace because someone had heard David play, and he played skillfully, so much so that someone's attention was drawn to him and was able to make a recommendation of David to the king. And listen, when David went to the palace, he did not just play one time, it became his side gig. He was doing his full-time job as a shepherd and his side hustle as a harp player or a musician for the king. He was a little boy, yet he was so skillful. So in this life, it's not about age, it's about the stage that you prepare for. Even if what you are doing is a hobby, I encourage you to perfect your skill so that you can put a price to it. There are three factors for greatness. Number one, there is the error of past glory. There are a lot of us who are living in past glory. We can talk about how we used to pray, the signs that happen in our ministry, the things that we have achieved. All of these are always in the past. We don't have any record of currently what great things are happening. This is like having a Visa card that has expired. You cannot boast of having a platinum card that has expired. Of what use would that be? If you go to the ATM and you try to insert this card, it will not work. If you try to buy something online and you try to use the card, it will not work. A lot of us are making the error of living in past glory. Don't hang on to what worked in the past, because the needs of today are different from those of yesterday. Even the mercies of God are renewed every morning. Check Lamentations chapter 3 verse 22 and 23. The mercies of God are renewed every morning. The mercy that you needed yesterday is different from the mercy you need today, and is different from the mercy that you will need tomorrow. That is why we have to come to the throne of grace boldly, and this should be daily, because when you find the mercy that will help you in time of need, that mercy has to be for that specific time of need. So whatever grace you enjoyed for today, don't expect that you will carry that same level of grace or mercy to tomorrow. Even for grace, Bible tells us in the book of John chapter 1 verse 14 that of his fullness have you received grace upon grace. So it means that there is a level of grace that can handle a certain level in your life. When you promote or grow into another level, there is also another dimension of grace you need for that level. Don't settle for past glory. Whatever you achieved yesterday, let that motivate you for tomorrow. Let that motivate you to do great things. Let it be a foundation of excellence. Be in competition with your yesterday, so that your today will be better than your yesterday. And tomorrow, when you look back, you can tell yourself that there is still more greater things to do. John chapter 14 verse 12, Jesus tells us that these signs shall you do, and greater than this, if you believe. So if you believe in Jesus, the signs that he has done, he is expecting you to do those signs. That is the standard. And then he wants you to beat his score. See, the success of every father is in his children being able to accomplish more than he, the father, has accomplished. That is why Jesus wants you to do much more than he has done. So I want to ask you, have you even begun a quarter of the things that he has done? Can we compare your achievements in this life, the impact you are making in this life, to Jesus? Inventions that do not evolve with technology are always abandoned. How many of you used BlackBerry back in the day and still have that BlackBerry phone? The world is moving at a faster pace and it is not waiting for you. So you need to evolve. You need to advance yourself. This is because what trends today may be irrelevant tomorrow. Number 2, Tata oil. We are all familiar with the account of Matthew 25. 10 virgins were supposed to meet with the bridegroom, and 5 of them came with the oil, just as the other group of 5. 5 were called wise, 5 were called foolish, because the wise came with extra oil. Now, when it was announced that the bridegroom was coming, that was when the foolish 5 realized that they needed extra oil, because what they had was enough for just that moment. But to go the extra mile, they needed extra oil. Extra oil is always for the extra mile. What is extra oil? There are so many things we can call extra oil in our days, and it is unique to your field. It is unique to your life, because for some of us, the extra oil we need is extra prayer. For some of us, the extra oil we need to carry along our life is a good character, because there are people that have been promoted to a certain level in life and their character has ruined them. They were not built, they had not built capacity in terms of character to handle that level of success or fame. The fact that someone is popular does not mean they are wise. So be careful who you listen to on social media, because there are people who base all their life decisions on what their favorite celebrity says on social media. The fact that something sounds profound or rhymes does not mean that it is wise. Your extra oil may be extra knowledge in what you are doing. Self-control. There are a lot of people who don't have self-control. So they become famous and you hear a lot of scandal around them. Today someone is out that so and so person has slept with me. I've done abortion here, I've done abortion there. There are a lot of issues that come out if you don't have self-control. It is an extra oil. Financial literacy can be an extra oil. You may be very good when it comes to inventions, but you will need financial literacy. You may be very good when it comes to ministry, but you may need financial literacy. Public speaking can be an extra oil. It may not be your field, what you do necessarily, but you can have this skill, because you will never know where it will carry you. You are dealing with people. So communication skills can also be an extra oil to you. If you want to remain relevant, if you want your impact to be sustained, consider these things. Because Paul, because Jesus, all of these great people that we look up to carried extra oil beyond what we know them for. There are things that you may not necessarily know as a key part of their work, but these are the things that keep them going. These are the things that sustain them. These are the things that serve as a defense for them. Speaking of oils, the challenge with most of us is that when we start out, there is a level of grace that we enjoy, and we try to hold on to that, and before we realize, we've run out of oil. For example, in the book of 2 Kings chapter 4, we can read the account of a woman who came to the prophet for help because her dead husband owed a lot of money. So the prophet asked the woman, "What can I do for you? What do you have in your house?" And she said, "I have a little oil left." So the prophet saw that the container this woman had contained just a little oil, but she needed more. She needed more. So the prophet said, "Go to your neighbors, all your neighbors, collect their vessels, not just a little. Lock yourself up and begin to fill the vessels." This means that interpersonal relationship and communication is very important. One tree does not make a forest. You need people. Whatever you think you know, somebody knows more. Expand. Expand. Have more vessels that can contain more oil, because you may never know what will make you stand out. You may never know what will make someone recognize your gift. Fill your vessels with knowledge. Fill your vessels with skills. Fill your vessels with wisdom. Learn broad and wide. Learn from everyone and have the ability to filter what you learn, because wisdom is making knowledge practical.